I'm the better looking at 204s today. I can tell by looking at you. You don't look too damn good. You ain't
You
been feeling
look pretty
good.
good. You look pretty good. I have to admit, you look pretty damn good.
Yeah, you looking good. You come back from your trip and you weren't feeling too damn good.
No, believe it or not, the day I got back home, told my wife, I said, I'm not feeling too good. She said, you didn't get tested for COVID. So, sure, I mean, we no sooner stuck that little swab in the thing, and next thing you know, them lines were filling across. It's like, yeah, fast. Didn't have to wait for nothing.
Well,
It started like the day before I got ready to fly. And, I just wasn't feeling too good. It felt like sinuses, sinus pressure, some throat, pressure behind the eyes. I just thought it was allergies. And I brought my allergy pills with me. And it felt kind of the same, but it had kind of turned into a cough on Friday. Tell you what, man, Friday night, Saturday morning, I thought I was going to die. Oh, man. Woke up, t-shirt was all soaked through from sweat and I just slept all last Saturday. Not yesterday, the
yeah,
week
the
before.
last
Just
yeah.
like I told you yesterday, I'd fall asleep for like an hour or two, wake up, there's a football game on. Watch a little bit, fall back asleep, wake up, then there's another football game on. And that happened all dang day.
That sounds like me yesterday. I was really tired. Uncle Bobby been in the hospital again, so I've been visiting with him. And Thursday, I stayed all day with him because his daughters and his wife had to work. So and they don't like for him to be by himself. He doesn't like to be by himself, and that's the way Bobby is. So I went up there. I got there about 7:15, 7:10, and spent all day. I stayed till like 6 that evening with him, and stuff like that. But he's home now, doing better, and
Yeah,
he's
but
got
they still don't know what's wrong with him, though, do they? That internal
no.
bleeding.
They've run all those tests, and one of the things they did say to him something about his upper GI area.
Right?
Yes, something. I don't know what it is, but they told him if he take these pills for like 4 months, it should heal that or that process. He has another test this week. He's got to follow up with his gastroenterologist this week. So I'll check with him tomorrow, see how he's doing. But this within 2 weeks of his last visit, he was back in the hospital. He had 4 pints of blood they ended up giving him while he was at. And I'm going to give a shout out to the people at Christus Santa Rosa Hospital on Westover Hills. That is just a great institution. The staff was just really awesome, and they actually did more tests on him, some things I didn't even thought about. Aubrey and Cass and I both were talking about it, how the different kind of tests they were running, trying to find out what's wrong with him and stuff like that. Just really good. We give a shout out to this one nurse named Jasmine, that was in the daytime his primary nurse. Boy, she's just awesome, and she's from Missouri too. And we had a big talk, and we'll talk about Missouri football here in a few minutes. But they're just some really kind, nice people at Christian Santa Rosa. So
That's good. Good to hear because it sounds like it was a lot better than his last visit at University Hospital.
yeah, it was. The university was nice. The staff was really nice, but they didn't seem to run the different kind of tests on him and stuff like that. They gave him the blood and that kind
He
of
didn't
stuff.
seem to be as responsive.
And one of the things I found out for him, I got to find out some more information. So this is for all of our hopefully veteran or spouses of veterans, stuff like that. If you call an ambulance and they're going to take you to a hospital, if you tell them you want to go to a VA hospital and they take you to another hospital, the VA will pick up the cost of that transportation and those kind of things. But you have to notify them within 72 hours. Uh, and if you like, there's a phone number. I'll give you that phone number. We put it out here on our thing. that you call, and you go through the process. You can notify them, so that way you can get that cost taken care of.
Yeah, we'll try to include that in the podcast writing or something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad he's doing better. He's home. He was home yesterday, so let him
Yeah, but
rest it
until
up.
they figure out where that bleeding's coming from, he could be back there in another week or two.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him tomorrow because the same type of symptoms happened as happened when he was like what 10 days at university, something like that, 8 days. I'm not sure exactly how long, but the symptoms, he was tired, not feeling good, and passing blood through his bowel movements and stuff,
Right?
and that's not good. And one of the things I liked about at the Christus, they had mentioned they, meaning his wife and daughters, when they were talking when they first admitted him, that they would need to do a colonoscopy because he hadn't had one, or he had one scheduled till like November. And in my heart, I really truly believe that the nurse practitioner who was taking care of him when he checked in, at the emergency room, he's retired military and all those kind of things, and his wife happens to work at the VA hospital and takes care of making those kind of appointments and stuff like that. That was on like Tuesday afternoon. Wednesday morning, he came up to see him, and later on that morning, nurse Jasmine, I was sitting by and said they had already got it set up for him the next morning to do a colonoscopy. And at University Hospital, they tried to get one, and you know, they said, "Well, we'll call the VA and see what we can do," and that was it. So the Christus San
Hmm.
Rosa got just like that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. So did you get any sleep after that football game last night?
Yeah, I did. But I had to wake up early this morning. Funny little story. My wife, she's out of town this weekend. She should be coming home any minute now. Her sister and niece were down in Corpus this weekend for beach cleanup, I think it was.
Okay.
Yep, a beach cleanup trip. And so anyway, she had told me she wanted me to. I can't remember if she wanted it done Saturday or if it was Sunday, but it was today that I did. She texted me to remind me. She wanted me to go to Dutch Brothers to real early in the morning to pick up some thing that they were giving away, which turns out to be these little itty bitty ducks, about that big around.
Okay.
I don't know why she collects all kinds of crap from Dutch Brothers. Stamps, stickers, and punch cards. I don't know. Anyway, so I got up just a little bit before 6, put on my clothes, took off down the road to go to the closest Dutch Brothers, and they weren't open. And I checked my phone, and it says that they're open because they open at 5 o'clock. I'm like, what the heck, man? There was nobody there. So I punched in Dutch Brothers on my phone, found another one down the road, drove to it. Thank God they were open. And I got I ordered a drink for myself so I could get a duck and a tea or something for her. So she could get, 2 ducks. They're just like little bitty rubber ducks, about yay big around.
Did
So
you like their coffee? Have you tried their coffee?
again, I got a drink called the Caramelizer, which is like a mocha and caramel or whatever, and I got it iced so I could
Uh-huh.
keep it in the fridge. Put it in one of those Arctic cups. It's a competitor brand to Yeti. Kept it in the fridge all day. And like an hour ago, I'm like, shit, I got that damn coffee. Still had the ice cubes in it. Delicious.
Wow.
So yeah, and I did the same thing for the tea.
Yeah, your oldest daughter, they really loved that, that Dutch
Oh
Brothers.
man, Haley, she loves Dutch Brothers. Oh my god! Every time she and Peter would and the girls would come visit, I'm telling you, the next morning, her and Peter would both they leave the kids and they take off down the road and go to Dustbrothers. Every morning they were here.
Yeah,
He loves the coffee, and it's
they
good. I will give you that.
they got a new one over here on 1604, just off of.
Right there by Shanfield, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, many days I got to go in and try. Of course, you know me. I just drink my coffee black, put a little honey in it, a little sugar, something like that. So
You know what? You got to go Gucci. Get you some Gucci ass coffee and enjoy it. But I think they do sell black coffee.
yeah,
Let me look at their menu real quick. Let me pull up Dutch Brothers
okay,
coffee classics. Let's see what we got. We got lattes, mochas, cookie butter latte, cold brew. You might like a cold brew. And then they've got the Americano, which is just coffee.
yeah,
Says our Americano features hand pulled espresso shots of their Dutch Brothers Private Reserve coffee blend with a bold, nutty, and mild cocoa notes combined with water. If you're looking for a mellow cup of coffee that's going to deliver all the energy you need, look no further than the Americano. You can get it hot or iced.
if I'm gonna drink iced coffee, I'm always just get a cup of water and drink it.
We used to think the same way, and I still prefer my coffee hot. But you know what? Sometimes I want it iced, and they are delicious. You know what?
But she likes that latte stuff too.
You know what? I'm gonna take your ass to Dutch Brothers, and we're gonna get some iced coffees.
All right.
And you're gonna like it.
I don't have a choice, huh? I'm gonna like it.
You're gonna like it. Oh, and speaking of first, I think it was last Saturday. Garrison Brothers released their Cowboy Burger, and man, people were posting like for them to how far away they were to waiting in line to get in, like you and I did a couple of years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, that Cowboy Bourbon, that stuff's strong. It's like 120, 130 proof. It is.
Oh wow.
It's powerful bourbon. But at any rate, you remember when we got there, and we were probably 20 trucks back,
Yeah,
and you were like, man, we're pretty far back. And I'm like, Dad, we no sooner stopped the truck, and two people had already come in right behind us. You remember?
Yeah. We've got to make a trip up there one of these days.
Yeah, the weather's starting to cool off. We should take another trip up there.
Yeah. Well, let me give you a little bit of history.
Mhm.
September 29th, 1951. Do you know what
That's
happened
today.
on that day?
1951. Is it something with the Korean War?
Nope. It has to do with sports.
Sports. Mhm.
The first sporting event televised coast to coast was a football game. Duke and the University of Pittsburgh. 29th September 1951. Was a long time ago.
Yeah. It was
That's
73 years ago.
Yep.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, you have football and stuff like that. You think, well, that just happened, but no, this stuff happened a long time ago. And this morning, I was at HEB. I think it was HEB. I was at met this young man. He's from El Paso. Guess what he watched last night?
The Alabama game.
Oh yeah, he's big, huge Alabama fan. He played high school football, he quarterback, and all that kind. He was that big, but just a real nice young man. So we spent a lot of time talking about the Alabama football game last night. He couldn't believe that comeback by Georgia.
That was scary. You and me, we did like a live chat video between us for the game. And I tell you what, those last couple of minutes, I didn't think we were going to do it. I did not think we were going to pull it off.
Now, there's pretty rough language coming across that
Yeah, across the
But
TV screen or
yeah,
our video screen.
yeah,
Yeah, there was some salty language, ladies and gentlemen, going on. And I don't understand. They played a brilliant first half, and then they just went to sleep in the second half.
in my
And that's
opinion,
not and that's not to take away anything from Georgia because
Georgia,
they came alive.
they're tough.
And
To me,
Carson Beck did it was like night and day in those two halves on how good he was in the second half.
yeah, I think there was three takeaways. I had three takeaways from that game last night. One was coaching. I think we kind of took our foot off the accelerator at halftime. You know, change things up around a little bit, get a little too, maybe a little bit too conservative. Then I think the other is the youth of players and the mentality of players. You can get so caught up in that because, you know, these still 18, 19, 20-year-old young men.
One of them 17.
Yeah, one of them 17. Then, but the mentality of it, you know, you get caught up in the hype and stuff like that, and you start believing all the stuff you heard during the week and stuff like that,
That was it.
and they had their way with Georgia that first half.
Sure did.
You know, so I think those three things made a big difference, and the biggest one I think is coaching. I think the coaches get a little bit too conservative. But I'll tell you, I was impressed with Coach DeBoer last night. I thought he was such a calm person, you know, and stuff like that. But we saw a little Nick Saban come out of him last night a couple of times.
For smart, you saw running next season. And there was some bad officiating. Good calls went against both teams. Um, it, it could have been a lot better officiating wise, in my opinion. But and there was some good, in my opinion, no calls on the pass interference stuff for both teams. And I think as long as the receivers and the defenders are getting a little handsy, as long as they don't grab on anything, I think they was battling for the ball and we say let them play. And for the most part, they did. But there was some man just take the hands like this, and then they don't fall.
But I kind of agree with what Coach Saban was saying on game day yesterday. Sometimes these officials, they see something and they have it in their mind that's what was going to, and they didn't follow all the way through. And they throw that flag maybe a little bit too quick or something instead of waiting to see the full. And can't.
But you know what? You can pick the flag back up and say, you know what? No call.
Yeah, no flag, right?
Yeah, you can pick it
No
up and say no
penalty.
call.
Yeah, but I thought it was really a
I
good
think my wife's been
game.
saw movement. That's why I kept turning my head.
But
You keep talking.
we got a tough schedule coming up. I did a little researching and stuff like that going on. We moved up to number one in the AP poll, and number
I
two.
think we're number one, aren't we?
We're number one in the AP poll and number two in the coaches poll.
I don't think we should have moved up to number one, in my opinion. I think we should move up to number two. I think Texas should stay where they were at. Then again, I didn't think Georgia deserved to fall from number one when Texas replaced them 2 weeks ago, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just because of Kentucky played them close, and because now maybe Kentucky is better than what we thought they were based on them beating Ole Miss yesterday. So maybe Kentucky's a lot better team than we give them credit for.
I think they're the real deal this year. Watching them play Georgia and how they play Georgia, and yesterday they beat Ole Miss yesterday.
But Tennessee moved up, and to me, that's the game that scares me the most. I've told Brenda since the first 2 weeks that I've watched Tennessee play this year. I said they're the team to beat right now because that's a team that I personally think can beat Georgia. They're scary good up in Tennessee.
We got a tough schedule. We got Vanderbilt next week. Vanderbilt is 2-2.
2-2.
So they're not
So
bad. Then we got to play South Carolina, and South Carolina is 3-1.
South Carolina could be a trap game.
Yeah. And then we got Tennessee. They're number 4. They're 4-0. Then we got Missouri. They're number 8. They're 4-0. We got LSU at number 12. They're 4-1, and Oklahoma number 17 is at 4-1. And then we play Vanderbilt 2-2, South Carolina 3-1, and Auburn 2-3. And you know what happens when you play Auburn? It's just like that Georgia game.
My God, it's going to be worse than the Georgia game.
Yeah.
I don't care. Auburn could lose every game of the year. I'll tell you what, they will come out like King Kong against Alabama, and you can bank on that.
And the only good thing is we're playing them at home like we played Georgia at home, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, but we're playing LSU and Tennessee on the road.
Yeah, and those are going to be a real challenge. I'm more concerned about Tennessee than I am LSU.
Oh, I am too. Josh Heupel has those boys hyped up and ready to play.
I'll tell you somebody else I'm impressed with too. That's Arkansas. I think Arkansas is pretty much the real deal. I like their coach, and they lost some tough one yesterday, but with the SEC, with Oklahoma and Texas moving into the SEC, boy, they're tough.
They are, and I hate to admit it, and I told it to you yesterday. Normally I don't root for Auburn, but I was kind of pulling for Auburn against Oklahoma yesterday.
Yep. When you look at it, we got 9 teams in the SEC, from the SEC, in the top 25, both polls, AP and the coaches poll. That's 50% of that whole league.
But you know what? Also, there's damn good reason why they are in the top 25, because from top to bottom, it is the best conference and has been for 20 years or more. And that's the coaching and the players, because the best players in the country, in my opinion, they come from the South, from North South Carolina, down the coast to Florida, out to Texas. Now, there's great ball players out in California. There's a lot of them, but predominantly they all come from the South. And these kids stay in the South. And then you have the best coaches with the best players, and you're going to get the best product, in my opinion.
Yeah, we had a conversation a couple of times. I don't think it would be too many more years that you probably won't have any conferences. Maybe 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like this week, there's a lot of talk about trying to get UTSA and Texas State to change it. Go to the Pac-12? I think it was Pac-12 they're talking about.
Yeah, they're trying to revive the Pac-12 to keep it alive.
Yeah.
Because I think it's Oregon State and Washington State were the only 2 teams left standing that were trying to keep the conference going. And maybe you grab a couple of Mountain West teams like Boise and maybe San Jose State or something like that. UTSA, Texas State. Peel off Oklahoma State, Oregon State, Washington State. I think you might have a pretty decent conference.
Yeah, UTSA, they were trying to get I think it was into the Pac-12, but they declined. They're going to say where they're at. I'm going to tell you, I was surprised and shocked at Texas State this weekend. And the way they've been looking, they come back and lost that ball game. They're 2-3?
Texas State? No, they've lost 2.
They're 2-2, and UTSA is 2-3.
Yeah.
So, but Texas State did kind of what we did yesterday. They had a good lead at halftime, and all of a sudden they came back and actually ended up beating them. Losing to was it Sam Houston State? Yeah.
Sam Houston State. Yeah, they were up 22-0 in the first quarter, and then next thing you know, they lost it in the final minute.
And see, and that goes back to what I was saying. The players, the the youth and the mentality of the players, I think that's something gets into it. You know, they're thinking that, well, we got this one, and the other team don't believe that yet. So, and then, of course, Sam Houston State, I don't think they've lost but one game this year. I'm not sure. I don't remember their record now.
Yeah, I think they only lost one. So that Pac-12 conversation, I just pulled it up on USA Today that the news leaked yesterday that they had extended invitations to 4 Mountain West schools: San Diego State, Boise State, Colorado State, and Fresno State.
Okay.
So you think maybe if you could pull off maybe even Utah State, UTSA, Texas State, I think you might have a nice little conference going on.
It would help those schools, I think, with the recruiting and the transfer portals and stuff like that, because these kids that are at some of these smaller schools that don't get the recognition that are pretty good athletes. I think it will give them a greater chance from a publicity point of view to enhance their potential, their schedule.
So yeah, the schools that turned down for that you had said UTSA, so it was Tulane, Memphis, South Florida, and UTSA. They all declined it.
Yeah. So
Well, financially, it's probably cheaper for them to stay in that conference because of geography.
oh yeah, cost wise, and everything. So we'll see. I just agree with Coach Saban a little bit on what he was saying about this transfer portal. I like the transfer portal, but I think we need somebody to control all that stuff. And he did that when they asked him to be in charge of that. I remember exactly that whole conversation around. I thought that was pretty good, but we need somebody like him at the top level that can kind of help guide this. Well, he was saying we need a federal program, right?
Yeah, but was it about the portal or was it about the NIL deal?
Yeah, NIL.
Because what prompted that whole thing was that quarterback out of UNLV, he was supposedly promised some NIL money, and then they didn't deliver. And like they mentioned yesterday on College Game Day, that he didn't have a signed contract, which is foul on the kid. But at the same time, you shouldn't renege on promise either. So, and I think that's what got that whole conversation going, and rightly so, because it's right now it's unregulated. It's the wild wild west, and like you're saying, with Saban being the old school guy that he is, who's also on the side of the players being compensated, there needs to be a structure program in place.
See, I think NIL too is really a big factor in the transfer portal process. A lot of those kids will move because of the money that they think they're going to get and stuff like that. So that's a lot to be thinking about. And the one point that he made that I never really thought about is from the education point of view. That when we're talking about transfer now, the portal, so many times these kids move, transfer, they don't get the education. And basically, that's what you're going to school for. One is the education, second is a career, right? Because that's what it is now. It's more about a job and a career.
And while Nick Saban was at the university, he graduated more players than any other school out there.
Yep.
Consistently, they graduated more players because he is the individual, like you just said. He cares about these young men.
Yeah, and he had quite a few that actually came back after going into the NFL and finishing up their degrees and stuff. So that impact. And the other thing he does, I'm really proud of, is how much money he donates to charities and stuff like that, and how many of his players that actually do that. I didn't know that yesterday when he was talking about it. A large number of his former players are involved with charities that they've actually started or participate with to help people. And that's really what it's all about. Besides you making some money.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
You know
anyway,
what? Look at that time.
yeah, I see it. But you and Carolyn are going to be sending me a text message or an email. You guys watch your time. You're going over.
Yeah.
So we're going to send a shout out to you, Aunt Carol, and say hello to her. And glad everything, all your nieces and your aunts in that area come out pretty good with this hurricane just went through that area. They got an awful lot of rain, but fortunately no damage or anything like that. So we'll keep our prayers for all those people who did sustain and suffer death and damages in that
Yeah, that
hurricane.
was
Pretty bad.
a lot of rain,
Yeah.
a lot of deaths as well.
All right.
All righty, old fart.
We'll see you down the road. We
Till
got
next week.
we got a concert coming up here pretty soon. Go see Clint Black.
Yeah, we do. It's been a while. Yeah, and two more weeks.
Yeah, we got another important date coming up next week.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
59 years.
9 years. She kept me around. I guess I've been half-assed pretty good.
Half-ass better than the whole ass, right?
All right. We'll see you.
All right, love you, Dad. Well, take care, everybody.
Have a good one.
All right.
Bye.